Here's your Kevin.
Hey, guys, it's Amber,
And Kristen.
and we are back with more weather talk. We've talked before about the flooding that went on in the Carolinas. What was that? North Carolina?
It
South
was Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, all the eastern area.
areas.
Hmm
And then we talked about the fires that happened in California.
hmm
Well, now it has hit us here in Kentucky.
Yeah, well, and the last one got eastern Kentucky, but not this far up. Like we got some water but it wasn't nothing to write home about.
Yeah, well, I think Eastern Kentucky got flooded again this time too.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
But I know that we got it harder than more of the surrounding counties.
Mhm.
Bullitt, Nelson, and Hardin, LaRue, like this area got hit really
So
hard.
what about like Western Kentucky? Or we're not considered Western. We're considered
Western,
central.
yeah, we're
Central, right?
central. I guess it depends on who you talk to.
South
Honestly,
Central. Would we be South Central?
I don't know.
I don't
We're
either.
just here. Western normally gets all the tornadoes and stuff, whereas in
Which
we
they've
don't.
had. I mean, that happened before the flooding hit.
They got that one tornado that traveled over 300 and something miles,
Yeah,
360 miles or some crap. So Western Kentucky usually gets the brunt of that.
because I know in Campbellsville, I think at the Tiki Bar down there,
Oh my gosh, I know.
they said that their roof got blowed
Blown
off.
off, and
Yeah.
then a bunch of campers got flipped. And during those storms, a guy that we went to school with, his camper and his barn got destroyed.
Now, but that was
That was in
in
Bullitt County.
Bullitt County.
hmm
Okay.
But yeah, the Tiki Bar that happened. There was a few other things that happened up there, but I know several campers got destroyed. At I guess there's parking there for that.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, there's a campground that's right beside of the
the
Tiki
Tiki Bar.
Bar. Yeah.
But yeah, so that happened, and but
Which for
this.
those that's listening, the Tiki Bar, like I said, was is in Campbellsville, but it's on Green River.
hmm Yeah, and I think thankfully the flooding missed them. The rain got them, but the more severe weather is what kind of got them.
Hurt them the worst.
Yeah.
Now, in our area here, I know Boston, the Boston community
hmm
is still underwater.
Yes. They're saying there's certain roads still that are inaccessible.
Yeah.
Um,
And then the Lebanon Junction area, it is also still
which
underwater.
Justin's from Lebanon Junction. There is a really bad part of um, Lebanon Junction that's still underwater. Like I was telling you, I don't remember Shepherdsville flooding except for back in '97.
Hmm.
And it's flooded this time bad. Uh, and of course, we have all these warehouses and stuff going up. And I know that I believe it's Jim Beam built some more warehouses in Boston. And they're thinking that made it worse. Like the people that have lived there for a long time that are like,
Yeah, that
it
knows,
wouldn't have
like
been
the old
like,
timers.
yes. And that's who you go to during these things. That's who predicted this place.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
I
We
mean, he
had
was
our
on it to a
regular.
T.
The last time that it rained and our parking lot got flooded, we were like, "Hey Tucker, we're gonna flood," and he's like, "It's not gonna hit you all. It's not gonna hit you all." I did
You free.
not. Yes, and
And
I
it was 2
put
inches from the bar.
everything. I put everything up. And this time, as soon as it started raining, I was like, "So Tucker, what do you think?" And he was like, "Oh, you're flooding." I was like,
Yep.
"Thanks,
Well,
thanks, I
and
appreciate it."
I think the best part about having people like that though is you know who you can go to.
Yeah. Well, the ones that's been around this area that have seen it, that have been through it, that live through it constantly, because it's like I was telling you earlier, when I first moved to this area, um, I knew Boston flooded all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think it was then just the roads maybe
Yeah.
you couldn't get in and out because
Um,
of the roads, but there's houses. I mean,
Justin and I lived in Boston for a little bit, and our backyard would flood really bad. And we lived right by like Barktown Rescue.
mhm.
Um,
That's who posted about how bad it was flooding down there.
yeah,
They didn't have anywhere to put dogs. I mean, everything was just
yeah,
misplaced.
it was bad. Which where we lived, it wouldn't have flooded, but our backyard would have,
Yeah.
because the house was built up. But it was bad. And I've been watching my cousin and all of them like that live in LJ and things like that. Um, there is actually a search and rescue going on right now, a search and recover for a guy in LJ.
Oh no.
I've seen that come up on my feed. Um, and, I've seen people make jokes and things like a guy drove through water that was too deep and, had to be rescued and stuff. And it's like, just because you drive something that's jacked up, that water is going to lift you up off the ground just like it would if you were on the ground.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't know what has gotten in. I don't know if it's just our times that we're living in now or if the internet has made people more stupid. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but in any situation, you've always got 3 or 4 on there that's going to say something out of the way, something completely rude. I did the live down here, and when I was going through we own it, and the water was probably not even halfway up my boot. I could walk still pretty good through it.
Yeah.
Our electricity was still on. We don't have any low plugs down low anywhere, so there was no electricity that could have been in the water. Not only that, I mean, I'm smarter to know that you can't be in water that's got any kind of live electricity going on through it. My dad was an electrician. Like, I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
But I did the live, and I had a couple of people saying, "Oh my gosh, they still got electricity going. They still got electricity going." And so I explained to them on there, yes, but here's the case. We know there's no live electric in this water.
Mm-hmm.
And then some woman got on there and said stupidity. That was it. That was her comment. Stupidity. So I said, "Excuse me, like I don't not understand this." And she said, "Wading through water with your electricity on." And I said,
Do you know how many houses flood up to your waist? The electric, from my understanding, what I know of it, is if it goes in the plugs and things like that, your electric's going to kick. You
"Well,
have
most
breakers
of the
for
time
that.
it will." And I get old buildings, maybe it doesn't.
Maybe it won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand that. But I knew that we didn't have even water up to our plugs yet. So I knew nothing was,
It
we didn't
wasn't
have
low
any
enough yet.
kind
Yeah.
of water with electricity in it.
Yeah.
So I said, "Thank you for your concern, but I'm not dumb. I know not to walk through water." And maybe there's people out there that maybe don't know or just that dumb. I don't know. I'm not one of those people. And so she was like, "Well, I mean," so I said, "Please don't come on here, being this negative like this." And she said, "Well, everybody else is saying it." So right then, immediately, I was like, "Then you don't know what the hell you're talking about. If you are basing it off of other people's comments, but you won't read the comments where I've explained what we've done, then you're not smart enough to be on my page." So I just blocked her at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had another one.
I seen one that said, "We don't care about the saloon, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, that saloon does more for the
Yes.
community than most people.
She was on our page.
Yeah. What about the rest of the town?
Go to their page.
You're on the saloon's page.
Yeah.
Get off of Vid's page and go find somewhere else to look.
Go find the page that you're wanting to look at.
These kinds of cases, they really bring out the good and the bad.
They do.
And it shows you, like, I don't want to be around you anyway. Like, you don't care about the saloon. Nobody cares about you either. What are you doing?
Like, I don't, but it's that mentality that I don't, and it's not just when something tragic happens. It shouldn't happen when something tragic happens, but it's not just that. I mean, they say the stupidest things online anymore just to, I can't even, I don't know why.
It's keyboard warriors.
But
If you
is it?
wouldn't say it, if
Because
you,
sometimes I used to think that, but sometimes I really do think
oh,
that
I
these
think you're a
people
total
are
dick.
dumb enough
Yeah,
to probably say it out.
I
I
don't think
don't
they
know.
are. I think that that
Maybe they
keyboard,
don't leave their house and they
yeah,
don't.
I think the keyboard has made people brave enough to where they think that it's okay. Because something I've noticed, I always say, don't say nothing you wouldn't say to my face on a keyboard, because I will say it to your face. Even I don't care who beats me up, whatever. I don't care. That's just who I am.
But have we gotten so to the point to where it's not
There's no empathy anymore.
compassion? Not even
No.
empathy, but compassion.
Well, compassion, but there's also like, you know, there is ways to be sympathetic and not a total dick. Like there's
But
no other way to put it.
there is, and but what gets me is that
Or egotistical.
okay, so I've said what was on our post,
Mm-hmm.
but you can go over to another post because we were talking earlier about the floodgates being accidentally
And then they turn around
open
and say
on
they weren't.
purpose,
Yeah.
whatever. In what was it, Carroll
Carrollton.
County? So, and that's like, because I know that flooded all of Frankfurt. That
Mhm.
flooded all of downtown
And they
Frankfurt.
tried coming back and saying it was a controlled letdown of the gates.
10 gates.
And then they said they didn't know if they would be able to get them back closed because the water was rushing
Right.
so hard.
They couldn't get it
I was
closed.
like, did it have to be 10 gates? You couldn't start out with half of that? Like,
Yeah, or just one.
well, you know what I'm saying? Like, did your mom ever tell you to ease into things?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I
no, full
don't.
force.
But the comments on there, some were I'm telling you, people, if you're
People are just
listening,
jerks.
read the comments. The comments will blow you away
Mhm.
worse than the actual event itself.
Well, and a lot of the people that are acting like that, they're not living it. Like I personally did not flood, but you did. So it affected me through you because I felt horrible for you. Not that it
But
personally affected me.
I don't think people get that.
No, people don't care. It's literally, there is such a selfish mentality anymore. It's a me world. And nobody gives a damn about the next. And like I think this community really comes out when it comes to that, because it was so like, how can we help?
That's why I absolutely love a small community.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it 1,000 times. I came from Harlan. Harlan's a very small community. Everybody there knows everybody. Everybody knew your business. Everybody knew your family. Everybody knew, and that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted so bad to get away from that.
Yeah.
Growing up, I hated it.
Now you get it.
Now I want it back, and now I'm like, this is my community. This is my home. This is where I want to be, because these are my people. They showed up and showed out full force for us.
I was like, I'm so sorry I wasn't there more.
And not only us, I
It
mean
was
the Boston
awful.
community, the Lebanon Junction community. I mean, all through here, people
Well,
have just
and
been
although
great.
you all have been fortunate that you didn't stay underwater very long, Lebanon Junction, Boston, they're all still underwater.
But this brings me this, because we have gone out on relief efforts to help other communities. We went out to Eastern Kentucky a couple of years, probably maybe 3 years ago, when they got hit with a flood really bad. We went down towards the Bowling Green area, maybe it was past Bowling Green, when the tornadoes hit.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done relief, and FEMA and Red Cross pop up like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen one
Not one.
FEMA or Red Cross. Now, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if you all are watching this live. Um, Maybe in the Boston community there is. I don't know. Maybe in LJ there is.
No, because
I haven't seen anybody online say, if
Nope.
you need help, reach out. Because normally it's all over.
Yeah.
FEMA's posted here,
Um,
Red Cross is posted
But I
here.
mean, that's where I grew up, and so I have a ton of friends and family down there.
Still, yeah.
And no,
You've
it's
not seen anything.
No, and I have seen a lot of people on boats helping others.
Mhm.
I have seen a lot of,
But within the community
Mhm.
or the
the
county,
fire department
yeah,
has come out. They've really come out as like Rolling Fork did for us.
yeah.
But as far as like out of state, I know that Trump did approve for Bivin to do the or not Bivin,
Brashear.
Brashear to for the emergency state of
State of
emergency.
emergency.
But so I know that we're getting the extra funds for the state of emergency. Where's it going? The community will never see it. It's just like out in the east where they're still rebuilding 6 months later and they're not getting any help.
But at least there was, even out there, at least they did have, contact FEMA, whether they helped or not, they still had the contact there.
They had bare minimum help at least. I know this one woman, she got on TikTok and just the frustration in her face, it broke my heart. They were trying to tell them that they needed their electric up so high. It was like 3 foot above her head on a tree, is where they told her the electricity had to be as the lowest laying electricity.
Like to plug stuff in?
Yeah. So they couldn't even get electricity.
Why? Why did it have to be up that high?
I don't know. And they won't give them an explanation.
Theirs was fires, right?
Well,
it wasn't
no,
a flood?
They were flooded. It was in the mountains where
okay.
Yeah, where all the flash flood and stuff happened.
Oh, okay.
And all those
I don't know why I thought you said California.
Sorry. I probably did, honestly.
For that.
Have you ever met me? I probably really did do it. I probably really did say that. But yeah, I think that that maybe that's why people don't want the help. Because
But I don't
are they helping?
I don't know that even if they didn't want the help, I know that there was a group from Georgia that came in, but they were doing evacuations, emergency evacuations. They were helping people that were stranded and stuff, because they did have a boat here in town that they were going and offering people to leave. But it just blows my mind that, because like I said before, I feel like anything when there's a tragic event like this with weather-wise, that FEMA and Red Cross pop up almost immediately.
Yeah. And we're out from under the water. Where are you?
Yeah. Like, I've not seen any kind of vehicles or tents or anything.
And even though, you're blessed that the community has come out and rallied around you all, the floors are still going to have to be fixed. There's a lot of repair that has to be done here.
We still have, drywall that has to be fixed. And
yeah, and I mean,
I can't imagine somebody's house or even business that went completely under, or
can't get the help.
Yeah, or is still under.
Yeah, because there is one of my friends. They've been under for a few days in LJ, and their basement's completely flooded. So they've lost everything.
A lot, yeah.
I mean, their house is just, it's not.
Well, one of our bartenders, she was completely flooded.
Yeah.
And they've lost everything.
Yeah, and, New Haven didn't even get it as bad as the other cities did around us. And
now there's that little town, and I didn't understand this, that little town that's in between us and Hodgensville.
Atherton?
Yes. Like, I don't understand that town. I guess to me, in my mind, I always thought you went from New Haven into Hodgensville. I never realized there was another little town.
I never realized it either until this time.
Yeah.
Because everybody kept saying, is Atherton still flooded?
Yeah.
I'm like, where?
Because they were completely underwater also.
Yeah, because I had to drive to Hodgensville the other night from here, and 31 was still flooded by IGA and stuff, but it was enough out of the water to where, or out of the roadway to where you could drive in the middle of the road and not go in the water.
Not get in the water.
But I'm telling you what, there's something so eerie about driving in the dark, knowing there's flooded roads, and knowing I don't know what roads are flooded.
Right.
You go into Hodgenville and there's a 4-lane road right headed out on 31 where it goes from 4 lanes to 2. Well, down that stretch that said right lane closed. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, they're doing construction or something. No, the road was flooded. Well, it just says right lane closed. So I slowed down, but it's still a 45. And I hit that water doing 45, and it was halfway at my rims. I was like, what the ever-loving hell?
Yeah. I seen somebody else that I don't want to say what community. I'm wanting to say, it was around here. I'm wanting to say maybe Boston area. It could have been LJ area. But you go down a hill, And as soon as you got down like the hill, the road all the way up was flooded. Like
Mhm.
you just ran straight into water.
Yeah.
And so somebody had got to the edge of the water and was like, okay, back up that hill to where they could turn around, and then called and said, hey, this road down here is flooded or whatever. They didn't put a sign except like right at the water's edge.
Yeah, so you don't have time.
Yeah, you didn't have time. And I guess from the way that I was picturing it, and I could be just picturing it way wrong, but the way I was picturing it was like a curvy road that went downhill,
It most likely it was.
And so once you get like to a certain point, you're stuck. You can't turn around on this curvy ass road. You have to literally back up, which means that somebody else could be flying in behind you because
Yep.
there's no warning.
Well, and I mean, not only that, but um, you don't have much time. Hitting water is like hitting concrete. And if you are going down a hill and it's flooded and it's a 55,
It's going to take you away.
You aren't going to have time to do a damn thing, but maybe roll your window down.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's going to take you away.
So,
they were talking about when we were standing out front when it was raining still and we were flooding, the change in how the state highway did their paint on the road, because now I can't see very well to drive at night. I have to put my glasses on.
Yeah.
But if it's raining, it's even worse.
Yeah.
And I can remember, and I thought maybe it was one of those Mandela effects that I just made up in my head or something, because I could remember when I was younger, even when I first started out driving, they had these big bright reflectors.
There was reflectors in the middle of the road.
And you could see the road still.
Mm-hmm.
In some places, I know out towards, what's right past Danville?
You would ask me that.
What is that area?
Springfield, Danville.
It's before Crab Orchard, but it's right past Danville.
But if you wouldn't have asked me, I'd have told you.
There's like a war.
Perryville.
Yeah. So in that area, they have really good reflectors.
Before Danville.
Not if you're going that way. I'm going that way. I'm not coming this way. Perryville's not before Danville.
Oh, you're right. Sorry,
I was
road.
second guessing myself. I was like,
I'm on the wrong road.
But they have big bright reflectors in their road, on their road.
Yep.
I don't understand. Like, why can't that be all throughout Kentucky?
Well, I mean, especially on busier roads like 245, those roads are really bad. And then
the interstate, hell, put it on the interstate.
I'm gonna tell you what. At least they have color on our roads. Down there in Tennessee, where I was at over the weekend, they didn't.
Nothing.
There was like, and somebody laughed until they realized it really was like an 8-lane road. I was coming off the interstate. Well, I'm in a place I don't know, trying to find a hotel that I've never been to. And Aubrey is sitting in the passenger seat, and I turned because it was a red light, turned green, and I turned. I ended up in like a turning lane, nowhere near where I needed to be, like, because there was no lines. The only thing you seen was the turning, like the symbol to tell me I was in a turning lane. Aubrey goes, Mom, you're in a turning lane. I said, what? And I looked up. Thank God those tags on that rental said California, because boy, oh boy, I went 6 lanes across. I was like, there's nobody around, but it was pouring down rain. You could not see the lines.
Yeah.
And I was like, no wonder people get like wrecked.
So, okay, so that was in Tennessee. We know they're bad in Kentucky.
Well,
I wonder if they're bad in other states too.
Well,
And why not fix it? Like, I don't understand.
Like in Australia, they have glow in the dark paint.
Well, so
have you ever seen that?
That is supposed to be what is here. It's not. It is not.
When they paint them, we might have a little bit.
I don't even think when they're freshly painted.
Because theirs is actually glow in the dark. Have you ever seen them?
No.
They glow in the dark, like the little stars you used to put on your roof at night.
We have some followers. Jetta, if you're listening, I don't know if you're online. I don't know what time it is in Australia. Jetta's from Australia. I would love to know about those glow in the dark lines.
They're neat. Because I've seen.
But I would like for us just to get some decent reflectors out there.
Heck, I just like something that glows in the dark. Just anything. Sorry, I'm getting a picture from downstairs.
Oh, we got some comments.
They're all basically from Trish. Ray said hello, ladies. Happy birthday, Kristen. Thank you, Ray. But that's weird. But Trish said Athertonville, and then she also said there was a link posted for FEMA help.
Oh, was there? Okay.
So I'm not sure what.
See, I didn't see that. I didn't see
I
a
have
link.
not seen it at all. And that could be in Carrollton, in Frankfort. Because I feel like
So
if
it's
it was
in
local,
Kentucky. Was it local, Trish? Do you know? Do we know if it was local?
Yeah, because I feel like if it was local, we would have seen it by now. I'm not saying that we would have, but I just feel like we would have seen something.
I don't feel like in this
Where you all
area there was
flooded, they should have been
anything.
here. Like
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think in our particular area here, maybe there is maybe it's all online. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always seen where FEMA and Red Cross will literally show up in with the tents,
Yeah.
because normally they have, like, they find a drop off station for foods, or whatever
Yeah, they
supplies.
They collect supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and I haven't
seen nothing.
seen that either. Now, I do know that there are several local people that are gathering up supplies.
Yes, I have seen that. And I will say, like I said, personally, the floods didn't affect me. But like friend wise, it did because
And maybe that's why. Maybe there's a different. I know that we're in a state of emergency here in Kentucky. Like, I understand that the governor put us that, but our whole entire county didn't flood. Only little towns, So maybe that's a difference.
That need the help.
But maybe that's the difference as why
And that's
FEMA.
why the deaths are happening.
It is, but again, maybe it's not because it's not county-wide. I don't know. I don't know really how FEMA and Red Cross work. I just know that anytime I've seen.
But once the state is under emergency, it does not matter. Like, it's a percentage, but Nelson County would have fell in that 100%. Because Boston, New Haven, Athertonville, Hodgenville, like
all of
we
it.
flooded all the way around.
Well, Hodgensville's not Nelson County.
But I'm saying, like, it's in this direction though. Like, they would have, because there was so much flooded.
So, well, maybe
Lion
there
Station,
is
Youngers Creek.
Maybe there is. Maybe there's somebody set up in Bardstown, like the Bardstown area. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen anything posted.
I have not. And I feel like we would have seen it. I mean,
and I can't say anything about the other counties around, because I know Carrollton. I think Tabby Ball had it posted.
We'll have to check.
Sorry,
I'll look real quick. Today.
I'll look real quick.
Remember the other day when neither one of us could see? My eyes are still like that. But they didn't ever make a pit stop here.
No, definitely they're not here.
But if you're going to help during a state of emergency,
help everything.
You have to help everybody.
I don't know.
And there's going to be more cities that have it worse, but you kind of got to be a little bit selfish and be like, okay, well, this is my business.
Oh, well, see, and I just pulled it up because I went to look up for this line, and there's even deaths. There's a death on here from the flood in Bullitt County.
In London Junction.
Yeah. 50-year-old man. So sad.
And a lot of it is because
so here is this is from the Nelson County Fiscal Court here in our area. Now, this is just for our area. If you've experienced flooding, there is flooding assistance info for Boston and New Haven. If you're seeking FEMA reimbursement. Okay, so basically.
Was it just posted?
No, it was 9 hours ago. This is all online, it looks like. So there's no actual place. So you can actually go online to FEMA, it looks like, because it's saying.
You sound like a total ass. So it's going to be just like it was out east. You can call and ask them for help, or put an email in asking for help, and you might get something.
But here's my question. How the hell are you going to email and call these people?
If your house is underwater.
Yeah. Like, we're flooded. I mean, so here it is, document damage. Take clear photos and videos of the damage of your property and belongings. Make a list of all affected items for your records. Contact your insurance before applying for FEMA. Report the damage to your insurance company. They may cover some of the costs, which could impact your FEMA claim.
But you gotta have flood
Floodplain.
insurance. And you
So
know how hard it is to get flood insurance here?
here's the next: floodplain permitting and compliance. Due to state and local floodplain requirements and development within 1% chance floodplain must obtain a floodplain permit. This includes post-disaster recovery work before any repair work can begin. No cost for the permit. To receive the permit and additional information, please contact, and it leaves a number. I don't know if this person is within the Nelson County area or if it's in FEMA. So then,
They make you
after
jump through
all of
hurdles.
that, you apply for FEMA assistance. You can apply for help online at the FEMA website, by phone, or in person at any disaster recovery centers as they open.
Mhm.
Okay, so again, how the hell are you supposed to apply over the phone or online if you're flooded?
Yeah.
So have your personal information, your personal insurance details, and damage documentation ready. Keep all records, follow up, stay followed up, stay followed up. So you have to keep contacting these people.
You've got to jump through hoops.
Community resources. In addition to FEMA, look for local assistance programs, charities, and government aid to support for your recovery. Prepare for future disasters. Once recovery is on the way, start planning ahead to minimize risks for future events. Okay, so
Hoops, hurdles, and anything else you can imagine. So it's not even worth it. And
it's truly
their
not.
goal.
It's
That's their goal.
it's
That's their
horrible to
goal.
be like that, but it's not. It's not worth it.
But that is their goal. Their goal is to make you feel like you cannot get the help you need.
Listen, these people are already losing. They've already lost everything that they have.
Yep.
Their house, everything that is underwater, and then you're saying, oh, just call me up after you've already done all of this other stuff. And then maybe, possibly, if you can get through and you have more documentation to document your documentation on top of your paperwork, if you've called 50, 11 billion times, I might help you on top of your documentation. Document that shit.
Document your documentation.
Yes,
documents
with pictures and photos and videos.
You
document.
better write down a whole damn subcontext to every photo.
Yeah.
I want to know what that little mouse's turd was in the corner.
Yeah, where'd it come from?
Yeah, because that's how they do people. And
is that your diaper floating? I ain't paying you for that. No, did you document it?
It might have been my diaper.
So I'm just saying, it's such bullshit. The things that has to be done to get this help, and I get it. No, I don't get it. I don't get it.
You need to make sure people aren't scamming. But guess what? There's a way to get into this community,
right?
And be like, okay, you know what? Every single community has a mayor. They have councilmen. They have all kinds of people that could ride around and be like,
your electric officials.
Okay, this person was hit. Okay, this person was hit. Now, write down what you lost.
So when we
went, I get writing and putting pictures. I do get that.
You do need to document stuff.
Those people can ride around these houses, collect the information, and help the people.
So when we went to the ones that was affected with the tornadoes, Dawson Springs, that's where we went, because I keep wanting to compare it to Dawson Creek, the show. That's how I remembered it. Whatever. Anyway, when we went there, it was crazy. It was insane. There was so many local businesses on top of the National Guard was set up. And I don't want to compare apples to oranges here, because I know that was more devastating. I don't know. I have not seen what I haven't seen it personally, what they're dealing with. But I did see what Dawson Springs dealt with during that. And it was crazy, because like one street would be completely wiped out, and then the other street would be perfectly fine of houses. But they had all of these. They had the National Guard, they had the FEMA, they had local people set up helping. They had Red Cross, different tents everywhere. Just about on every corner there was some kind of help or assistance, or somebody could guide you to where you could get assistance. But what they did is they went through with like a red ribbon or a colored ribbon of some sort, and put it on the houses that were destroyed.
Yeah.
Now I'm pretty sure that was the way that the local rescue squads maybe checked the houses just to
Yeah,
make
they
sure.
normally check houses and put a ribbon out.
Yeah,
Or they'll
so
paint a door.
so that way they know that they have been through there. There's nobody there,
Yes.
whatever that those houses. But I mean, even in this cases, I don't, I don't. Has anything like that been done? Like, I don't understand the steps of what's being taken right now.
It's being very, honestly, my honest opinion, and then without getting political or anything, we are a poor community. We are an undereducated community. In all of these small towns, that's what they are. That's what they look like. Because look at the people that don't get help.
So the higher up government does not
They're
want
not
to
going to help the little
help
people. They're not
like
going to help
that,
because okay, think about it this way. The older people. This is an older community. They are not tech savvy. They are not.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not educated in the ways of today because they grew up when times were actually good.
right.
So they aren't going to
Landline
know.
phones. They have
Yeah,
not landline
they're not
phones.
going to know how to reach out. They're not going to. You're drowning a poor community because that's the way I see it. This is a poor community.
I don't think that it. I don't
We're
want to
looked at
label
that
it.
way
Yeah.
because there is plenty of money here.
Yeah, I don't want to label
But
it as
it's
like a poor
farmers,
community. Yes.
farmers and things like that.
An
Like
older
that's how
community.
they see us as undereducated because it's more farmers. It's more people that like to live off the land. People that know how to get their hands dirty. Blue collar people.
Yes.
That's how they look at us. Not as in, and really honestly, I don't say this just because it is my community. That is the more people I want to be around because they are actually the most educated.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to be tech savvy. I don't feel like
You can
you
be a
don't have
doctor.
to be tech savvy to
You
be
can be a
educated.
doctor and not know how to be a maintenance man. It don't matter. I've always said you can go to school and become smart in that area,
Right. It
but you're
doesn't.
not educated in every single area.
Right. You don't get it all the way down. And I feel so bad for the elderly that are being affected by this because, again, even if they did have access to call or email or whatever,
They need help.
they don't probably, and I don't want to say they don't, because I mean, my mom could probably email. She used to tell me all the time, we'll just Google it. All right, then.
They
Mama, Google wasn't around when I was younger,
Yeah.
But, anyways. So, maybe I don't want to say they don't know, but it's very hard for them.
Well, and it's
You
not.
just make it hard.
It's not it's not stupidity. It's ignorance because it's not knowing and refusing to listen or learn. It's ignorance because they don't know.
Right.
They need to be taught, and that's not saying that the older community is stupid because they're just ignorant to that.
I don't like the word ignorant. I don't want to use that. I know what the definition is.
But like ignorant to me is not like if you taught them,
right, they would know.
learn it because they are capable. They aren't stupid. They know how to learn.
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I say that. Like the older community, if you teach them, they'll learn it.
Right, it's show them.
But they don't. They didn't go to school during that time
to learn
why
that
would
stuff.
They know it?
Yeah.
To
learn that stuff.
When I'm 60, 70, 80 years old and retired, I'm not going to want to relearn anything.
Well, by then, it's untailing. We're probably going to have, some kind of flying mobile or
the new
communication
damn math they came up with in school. And my kids will come home and be like, Mom, and I'm like, good luck. That Common Core bullshit.
Oh, yeah, I hate that.
I'm like, I have no idea.
Give me my fingers.
Well, and furthermore, why make something harder than it already was? Because that is harder. But either way, like that's what I'm saying. I'm 36 today, and that difference between when my daughter going to school and now,
it's huge. There's a huge difference.
And the thing she's learning, I'm like,
yeah, I imagine how it is with me. I'm 45, and with my kids, when
you're only 9 years older than me right now.
I know. Even when my oldest daughter was in school, it was different even then what it is with my son who's in school now.
Yeah.
It's times change, and not always for the better. I don't feel like, but whatever.
Sometimes things don't need to change, and everybody's just so gung ho on change, and I'm all for change
if it's good
change.
Yeah, we got a big.
That's a big comment. Hold
Yeah.
on. I'm going to have to read that one from my phone. I'm 74 years old, eighth grade educated woman with good income. That doesn't mean because we're old and undereducated that we're not smart. It it takes only common sense. No education required. The older people will, with common sense, has more sense than the people that are educated.
Absolutely. I would much rather, and if you caught us at the first of this,
Yeah, we're
we
not.
have an elder
Tucker.
man, our Tucker that
Gosh,
comes in
love
here,
Tucker.
and I think Tucker's up in his 70s. That's who I go to
Mhm.
when something like this happens. I'm like, so
Yep.
what am I looking at, Tucker? What's going to happen, Tucker?
Exactly.
And he's the one that I would trust over, honestly, even a
And I'm kind of
weatherman.
glad she said that too, because I didn't even think to word it that way because of common sense.
Right.
Common sense gets you very far.
A lot further than book smart.
Well, and something else too that the older community has that even my generation and below do not have is the willingness to learn. Because
and the willingness to do it.
Yeah. Well, and
not even just learn it; they will do it.
I've always been the type of person, I think you should learn something new every day, even if it's just something so minute or small.
My papa was 64 years old, walking on stilts that he made, walking up a hill on stilts.
Up a hill?
Yeah.
I can't even do that on flat ground.
I could not either. I couldn't even climb up on stilts.
But that's the thing, like, you're not gonna like, the older community is who you lean on. But when it comes to the education and stuff of today, the internet and all the changes that are coming out.
Well,
that
and not
is why
only
it's
that,
so hard.
not only that, it's harder for the older community, to be able to get their stuff out when a tragedy happens. I don't know if I'm wording this right. In my mind, I'm saying it right, but I feel like, and maybe it's just the way that I was taught. We were supposed to help.
You're supposed to help the older.
And neighbors, neighbors in general. You're just supposed to check on them. And you constantly hear when it's cold out, make sure you check on your neighbors, the young, the babies, the elders. Those are the ones that can't. And that's what breaks my heart for these smaller communities that are suffering right now.
Well, and you also,
because again, you don't freaking, even if you could, you don't have access
to
the internet right now.
Well, and when we had that really bad ice and stuff, I constantly put on Facebook if there's anybody that needs groceries, if there's anybody that needs their medication picked up, whatever. Like, I will take my SUV and I will go get it for you. Don't get on the road if you're elder and stuff, because you're more fragile.
Or if you can't drive.
Well, please. But you're more fragile to me. Like, no, you're not fragile. Like, I think that 80-year-olds are in better shape than 50-year-olds anymore.
I think it's because we were raised.
That's how I was raised. You're supposed to take care of them.
Yes, you respect and take care of your elders. And to me, an elder is anybody who's 10 years above me.
Oh, you're my elder.
I'm your elder. See, take care of me, damn it.
Respecting your ass.
Take care of me, damn it.
No, but I agree. I think that I fear.
And no, I'm 9 years now.
Just for a few months.
It don't matter. It's still 9 years.
That's funny. So, but like, I mean, so I won't say the respect thing, because I respect those that respect me. I will give you respect till you don't respect me, and then you will never have my respect.
I can't say that though, and I don't know how the hell we got on the elder community, because let me tell you, I have said from the get-go, because my nanny, she is 98, still living, still lives by herself. Actually, she does a lot by herself. But let me tell you something. That woman will flat out tell you about yourself in a minute. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm floored at what comes out of her mouth sometimes. And then other times I'm like, I cannot wait until I can get by with that shit, because people, and I don't want to say they'll excuse you, or I don't want to say that, I want to say you've earned that position in life. I mean, hell, the woman's 98 years old. She's earned to say whatever the hell she wants to say.
Absolutely. Well, but I think when we're that old, it won't be like that.
I don't know. I think
I think the
maybe.
times
I
are
think
already
it's
changing.
just. I think it. I don't know. I think that it's just how it is.
I think
In my
that,
mind, that's just how it is.
you know,
I'm hoping that's how it is
I
because
raised.
I can't wait to be. I can't wait to be
You're
that
gonna be the
woman.
one that gets the hell beat out of you all the time.
You know that Maxine, the little Maxine cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said that that's who I was going to be when I got older.
Makes sense. Yeah, but I mean, that's I think why we got on the elder community too, though, because listen to those around you because they've been through it.
Yes, and they know how to deal with it.
And they know how to get through it.
Yes.
They know how it's going to be. And Tucker, I mean, he was right on by the inches.
Yeah.
Like I'm blown away by that, which I knew. Like he's a very smart person. Like he's very, very educated.
And they know how to rebuild you back also.
Yep.
You listen, you go through a tragic event, go and talk to an elder community person.
Yep.
Because they
They'll
will
get you
tell
through it.
you exactly how to build back better than what it was when you left.
Yeah, and I mean, you and Jimmy are blessed, with this bar and stuff, and the people around you all that are helping and willing to help and going the extra mile to help, and um, it has taken, I feel like, a lot of pressure off of you all.
It has.
But
taken.
it's also one of those things where it's like they're helping you, and it's like you want to help other people too, but you all are drowning right now.
Well, and I get that, every little community. I don't want to say because the mayor, when she spoke, I think she did an interview for one of the news
I
stations.
heard her.
And she said, yes, our community has come out full force, and that is 100% true. They have come out in drones to help not only us but other local businesses and families around too. And she said, no, we don't think that we're special. That's just a small town.
It's a small town.
That's what you do in a small town.
Yep.
That is just what happens in a small town. So I am sure that in the Boston community, in the Lebanon Junction community, I am sure, I know that there is places
Absolutely.
that
They
is
already
set
had
up.
up in Campbellsville, that Tiki Bar. They almost have it completely
See,
under
so
roof
I
again.
know that there are
Yeah.
places that you can get things and items. I know that we actually had one of our friends reach out to us, and she was like, "Hey, there's somebody that I work with that's getting a donation thing together to send to the Boston area. Can you think of anything else?" And gave me a list, and I was like, "I mean, you've got everything pretty much.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else."
Well, and that's something people don't consider, but when there's a flood and stuff, you need the bleach and things like that. You need the scrub and stuff. You need
all cleaning supplies.
You need any anti disinfectant, things like that
that
can
flood
keep
water
mold
is
down.
disgusting.
Dehumidifiers,
Fans, heaters.
Yeah, I mean, you need every bit of it because you want to dry it out.
Gloves.
And it's unfortunate because a lot of the times you have to cut out drywall and stuff to clean out the
And
inside.
that's what we did.
Yeah.
I wish that I would have thought and we could have wrote like a list of stuff on here for
We can
people.
still put it in the comments.
Can we? Okay.
Yeah.
We need to do that, like a list of items that if anybody is, or if you're in need, maybe you're in need of something particular, or you need to know where to go to find these items, reach out to us. We can we can talk to our local people, our local, I keep wanting to say EMS, and that's
Fire department.
No, not even the fire department. What are those people called?
Emergency officials.
Yes, there you go.
Gotcha.
Those people, we
but
can reach
yeah.
out and find out where in your community you can get these items because it's not just, this is Kentucky wide right now. Not all of Kentucky, I get that, but central, southwestern, are we Western Kentucky?
Our community.
Yeah, it is more so because like Frankfort, Carrollton, that area is also being hit.
But that way people have kind of a knowing of what is needed because some things you don't think about.
Louisville was hit really bad. They said this was like the worst ones Louisville's hit.
They've closed the floodgates on 2nd Street.
And they canceled
Thunder over Louisville.
Thunder. I can't even talk today. I give up.
She hasn't had no sleep. But see, that's the thing. Just keep everybody in your prayers. I'm a
And they said captain's quarters up in Louisville, because they are right on the river also, they flooded themselves, and this is a really
they
good idea.
sprayed clean water to
They
keep the dirty
flooded
water out.
themselves with clean water to
Yep.
keep the dirty water out, and they said that it would hold, I don't remember how many inches before the
Flood
dirty
water would
water
come in.
actually come
Mhm.
in. But yeah, I seen the woman or whoever it was walking around in the video, and you could see clear down to, like, the water was clear,
Yep.
and I was like, "That's awesome. That's a
But
great
when they
idea."
shut off the water because everybody uses all the water.
Then you
Um,
lose that too.
but see, that's one of those things where like Louisville's a bigger community, and I hope that they show up and show out for everybody.
Mhm.
But
Because that's citywide. I
I
mean,
mean,
that's huge.
Thunder River Louisville also brings a lot of money to Louisville.
Mhm.
Um,
And that's
so
gonna
that
hurt
sucks.
that community horribly
But
bad.
I mean, there's ways to reschedule things like that. There's not a way to just completely rebuild your life. And that's kind of what you all had to do. You have to stop. You have to put your life on pause and okay, one day at a time.
This
Take a
is
deep
what we
breath.
gotta
And
do.
I was trying to leave you alone because I was like, she's going to kill somebody. I just know she's got to be on edge,
Well,
like
at one point,
stressed.
I finally just quit answering my phone,
Yeah,
and
I
I
knew
get it. I get, and
people
I'm so
care.
appreciative. I'm so appreciative. I don't want to ever sound like I'm not appreciative to the people that called and checked on us. I'm just not that person that can mentally
You have to check out.
handle all of it.
Hmm.
I'm just not that person.
Well, you have to be able to check out and kind of take it one day at a time, breathe, and then once.
And my heart goes out because yes, we did get bad, not near as bad as what some of these other places and other people have. And
Hmm.
my heart breaks for the ones that have been affected by this
Their
flooding
homes.
worse than us.
Because what I think about when I think about a home flooding, I think about your personal things that you can't replace.
Hmm.
That's what goes through my mind. Which I say it didn't affect us, but actually, our garage has never leaked at Justin's house, and the entire garage was flooding.
Yeah.
Like I mean, pouring in. His motorcycle, everything was just drenched. And because I was there picking up my outside furniture to take to my house, and my cushions were like wringing wet,
Everything.
and I'm like, how can I put
And
these in my
and the
Escalade?
thing is, I got on the way here, I got a notification that they're calling for more rain tomorrow on Thursday.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, oh, God. And then freezing weather on top of that.
yeah.
And I
And
know
it's
everybody kind of prepares for the spring because I think
and
Mother
everybody,
Nature is so freaking
but
bipolar.
everybody just breathe, take it one day at a time because as bad as we have it, somebody else has it worse. And
Hmm.
the way I see it is, it's okay to be selfish in the moment,
It is.
but
Take
then,
time for yourself
but once your
and
floaties are on and
relax.
your head's above water, okay, like
Now it's time to get busy. Get busy.
now it's time to not be as selfish and focus on everything.
And like we said, I'm sure that there are so many community help centers out there to where you can get supplies. If you all know of any
Hmm.
places, please list them in the comments. We will
Please.
also put them in the comments of some of the things that has been asked around different communities for supplies. If anyone is interested in donating any of those items, we can get a list. I know that here in New Haven, our city hall is taking those items, or the fire department. I think more so city hall,
Hmm.
but I think you can also take it to the fire department
Yeah.
if you chose to. And I'm sure, like in the Boston area, I'm not sure, no, because I don't know. I know that they
I
have a
don't
fire
think that they
department.
can yet. The fire department's under.
I was gonna say I know that they have one, but it's probably underwater.
I'm pretty sure it's underwater. I know that it's across the road. Whether or not it's under yet, I don't know. I don't know if it went under, but I know they can't get in or out. So,
Yeah.
um, but be mindful.
And if you're in this community, any of these communities, whether it be Frankfort, Carrollton, here in New
Lebanon
Haven,
Junction, Shepherdsville,
Lebanon,
Boston.
Bullitt County, wherever, and you need help, you need assistance, reach out to us. We will try our best to find where you can go and get that assistance, where you can go and get supplies, where you can sign up for FEMA help, Red Cross help. I don't even know if Red Cross, that post I read was from FEMA.
Yeah,
Um,
any kind of help or any way we can help. I know we kind of went silent for a few days, but our focus was on Long Branch Saloon,
Yeah,
not Long Branch
so
Talks.
you can also comment here, and we have our email
Mhm.
too, which is
Long Branch Talks 5.
Long Branch
Long Branch Saloon
Saloon
5
5 at
at
Gmail.
Gmail.
Long Branch
Sorry.
Saloon 5 at gmail.com. You
It's
can
on our
email us
Facebook.
there. Yes, it's on our Facebook. You can comment on our Facebook. You can message us on Facebook,
Mhm.
or any of our media.
Even our personal pages, if it's something dire and you need to get a hold of us, if
Mhm.
there's any way we can help, find the help you need. Because of course, we're two people. We're not going to be able to help everybody, but if we can at least guide you into the right direction.
Right. We will try our best to do that.
Mhm.
Check on your neighbors. Check on your elderly.
Do not drive through the floodwaters.
Don't drive through the floodwaters. And let me tell you something, when all this is said and done, go and find somebody who's been through this to help them get you through this, because
Absolutely.
they will. They will help.
Mhm.
Until next time, guys, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeart,
TikTok,
TikTok,
Facebook,
Instagram, YouTube, all of the above, all under Long Branch Talks. You can email us at longbranchsaloon5 at gmail.com. And until next week, see you guys.
Bye.